right, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Nerds Who Drink. I'm Steve.
Mark.
And guys, this week we are thankfully joined by one of Mark's choices, so I'll let him explain where we got some beer from, and we'll do our ritual.
So, coming out of the great state of Colorado, we have the Mystic Mutant. It's actually an experimental IPA from Oskar Blues. Honestly, the can drew me in. The fact that
Yeah, I like it.
was an experimental IPA, I don't honestly know what that means. I don't know if that means that they're playing with something.
Not
So
a
it's
clue.
number 5. So there is a series. As you can see
Okay.
on the can, if I turn it the right way, it's a series, apparently. I didn't know that you could have series of beer. I only thought that came with like movies or TV shows or comic books or whatever. I didn't realize beers had series.
Okay. No, I mean, I'm looking at it now. I love the can as well. Like when I grabbed it from you, it looks super cool. I'm very curious to see how it tastes. So, I guess on that note, I'll let you do the honors. Beautiful.
Ooh.
Ooh, a little hoppy. I could taste that right now. I can taste it, smell it. No, it's okay. We're not like brand bombing the shit out of you guys. Don't worry about it. Please, Corksicle, notice me.
Notice me. Acknowledge me. For all
This
you
is
WWE fans.
Han Solo, sticking with the Star Wars theme.
Woo! So what do you think initially? I know you said it tasted hoppy, but
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't even taste it. I smelled it initially, and I could smell the hops in it. It is less hoppy than I thought. Not even in a bad way. It's just like I thought it was going to be like a punch to my mouth.
yeah, no, it's very
It's
smooth.
actually pretty smooth.
It's a
It has like kind of a
fruity
It
kind of a taste.
doesn't say too much. Okay, here we go. Ripe peach flavor. I was going to say there is very much a fruity flavor to it. But it says it'll leave you questioning your senses, which I very much am, because there is hoppiness to it. There's a smooth finish. There's some fruit in there, which you get with the ripe peach.
I like it.
I'm here for it. I like it.
When I smelled it at first, I thought it was gonna be like really sweet. It's not. It's actually really good. It's actually probably one of my favorite ones that we've tried so far, honestly.
Oh yeah, I got some stuff lined up for us. It's gonna be a good time. This is, I think, besides Sam Adams. This is one of the furthest breweries that we've done away from home. So, again, we try to highlight our local breweries because, we're the local kids. But at the end of the day, we are down to try any beer from any brewery. If you guys have suggestions, questions, comments, concerns, shoot us some stuff that you like that you think we should try. We're always down to try even mixed drinks, wine, you name it. I'll buy it and drink it. I don't care. I'm here for it. So I guess hopping off the back of Mystic Mutant, speaking of mutants, let's roll directly into Agatha and where that's taken us so far this season. It is getting hairy,
Definitely.
to say the least. So yeah, for those of you in
Hashtag
our podcast
spoilers.
world, it is Saturday, but we're currently recording on a Wednesday. So waiting for the episode of this week. I'm going to be watching probably tonight. So I haven't gotten too far into it. But spoiler alerts, if you checked out last week or you haven't seen last week, and you listened to our previous podcast 2 weeks ago, yes, thank you, Funko, you were right. Really, again, I was still shocked, but like slightly upset.
Because it was spoiled or because it was actually him?
A little bit of both. So like it was spoiled, but the second I saw that like 80s, 90s scene in like the cabin, I was like, yeah, no shit. No shit. Like it is obviously it's him. Now what really got me was the crown.
It's almost a spitting image of hers. Like there's some minor work that's different, and obviously it's blue, not red, but like it still has the 2 points that point down, like it kind of comes up. I don't know. It might be just me. I wasn't a fan of the crown.
I'm not either. And I think there's a couple reasons why. And the biggest one that I have is strictly the fact that, like, we did that already. That's not his character.
No.
We've
He
been
usually just
so
wears, like,
good
a
with, like,
bandana, right?
correct. It's so good, like, Phase 4 just being so accurate comic book. So, like, for what Phase 4 lacks in, like, my attention grabbing, it is making up for it 10 times over in, like, how the comic book, comic accurate costumes are. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but I'm a little curious.
I mean, for me personally, so far, I mean, it's not as bad of a show as I was starting to think it was going to be off of everything I was reading prior to it starting. By no
Okay.
means is it one of the better shows out there. But
Oh god, no.
for what it is, it's really making me kind of like think about the direction of the show, I guess. Cause like at first it's like, oh, like they're going to the road, like this is Agatha's story. But now I'm just wondering if it's Wicked.
I feel
Cause
like that would be a very Marvel move.
Because you know what I mean? Because the first thing that Agatha tells him is that, like, when you travel the road, it gives you what you want. What would he want most? To have Wanda back. So he
Yeah.
screws. But this could also be a thing. Because, like, at the end of the episode, he, like, throws them all in the mud and they sink in. But I know that there's trailer footage of, like, Agatha covered in mud. So I'm wondering if that was just, like, how they had to get to the next point. But, like, he's found every clue to start every trial. He couldn't tell any of them who he actually was because he had the sigil on him.
Yep.
Like everything's kind of leading to like he's the main character of Agatha's ship. Which I don't mind. We got a lot of Agatha's story in WandaVision. We're getting more now that we're kind of diving into it.
Mhm.
Because like initially it was just, oh, she traded like her son for the Darkhold. Now it's like, okay, she heard an echo of someone saying, "Mommy, please stop." Like, how old was he when she gave him up? Like
Yeah, that is a good question.
he was out because like I think it's episode 3 was when she had the vision and like there's a cradle with the Darkhold in it. But
Yep.
then in her trial, you clearly hear a boy say like, "Mommy, stop."
Yeah.
So it's like, is he like 3 or 4 when she gives him up, or is he like an infant still?
I mean, so as someone with kids, it could very well be. I mean, my daughter started talking around like, "Mommy, stop" isn't like a sentence. It's 2 words.
But
Could be
old
a
enough
year
to
and a
be in a
half.
bassinet still?
We're talking like fucking baby Jesus times here.
That's true.
Like they didn't. I mean, I don't know. Like they didn't have like the technology that I have. Like I got a fucking a camera and a fancy crib and all that fun stuff. But like, I don't know. It's a tough call because like they never really allude to an age. You're absolutely right. So who knows? But it's possible. It's possible. It could have been a year and a half, maybe 2. I'm sure we'll get some kind of answer. Hopefully by the end of it.
We hope.
If not, that's just one of those again. Like it's a lead to somewhere that never has an ending. Which Marvel's been doing a lot, and that's kind of an upsetting thing for me. I don't need all of my loose ends tied up, but like something like that they've mentioned so many times, if you don't tie that loose end, you're
It
doing
was a
yourself a
lost
disservice.
opportunity.
Yeah. And I think, that at some point Wanda should try to sacrifice somebody else for a new book, a version of the Darkhold, whatever,
So
because
here's
that's just
my
like her.
theory.
And,
So my theory is that his spell book that he has will become the new Darkhold.
that would be interesting.
But it's sad
That would actually be
because
awesome.
like this is Agatha's show, but the person I'm most excited for, if my theory is correct, The person I'm most excited for after this is Aubrey Plaza's character.
Oh, yeah. I love her character. Love Aubrey Plaza.
Well, the reason why is because my theory is that she's actually Marvel's Lady Death.
Which would be awesome.
And we just had a Deadpool movie where he's now in the MCU.
Yep.
And there's rumors that she will be involved in Doomsday and in Secret Wars. And
okay.
Apparently Deadpool will be in Secret Wars. And we all know, now I don't know how they'll loop it together, but we all know in the comics, Thanos snaps to sacrifice lives to Lady Death to impress her.
Yep.
She then has multiple flings with Deadpool because he can't actually die. He gets right on the line of death. And that made Thanos jealous. So Thanos in the comics made pretty much Deadpool immortal using the stones. So I don't know how they're going to work that around since we already had the Infinity Saga. But there's so many signs that point to that's who she is. So the first thing that kind of got me was the Black Heart comment she makes in like the first episode when she's in Agatha's house. And she has the dagger. So if you look at the tarot cards, the death card has that dagger and a black heart in the other hand. Second thing was when she was, I think I brought this up last episode, when Agatha and her were talking in the music studio, she says, I want my bodies.
Yeah.
Then after this past episode, when what was the witch's name that died? The Asian chick.
Lady from that 70s show. Can't remember her name.
Yeah.
Oh, Mrs. Hart.
No, the Asian chick. I'm talking about last week's episode.
Yeah. You're right. Shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't remember her name.
Either way, we're very unprofessional podcasters that, we don't know our own content. But
whatever.
When Agatha stole her power and she died, you see everybody else on the road after that. But Aubrey Plaza. You see Agatha, you see Wiccan, you see the other two, but Aubrey Plaza is nowhere to be found. And my guess is she was taking the body to, I guess, hell, or I don't know. I don't know how that works in Marvel. If it's like, if you're on the road, you automatically go to hell, or if it's still kind of like a conscious thing between up and down or whatever. Because they also made a comment where she makes a comment that, like, when she first crawls out of the hole when they summon her, she's like, oh, I just came up or down. I don't know which. So it's like, well, and then they also mentioned like agents of Mephisto.
Yeah.
So she's either one, she's just an agent of Mephisto, or she's actually Lady Death. Because nothing seems to faze her. Like all the trials, she's like giggling and laughing. Like when they were on the brooms and the road was pulling them back down, she literally does the cackling witch laugh that everybody knows. Yep. Like she has like no fear of any character, and why would Death have to fear death?
Correct. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Alice Wu Gulliver is the character name.
Alice, that's it.
Yeah, I looked it up. We're gonna be professional.
But that's me personally. I mean,
Aubrey Plaza's character, her name, obviously, it's not gonna say Lady Death if that's who she is Rio Vidal.
Yeah, I knew hers was Rio. And that's what I don't know though, is like that actually Lady Death's like real name, or is that just something she's going by so nobody realizes who she actually is?
Who she is. I get that. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, see what they do with Wiccan, because clearly he's sick of everybody's bullshit. He's being sick of being treated like, I think Agatha even calls him like her pet at one point.
Pet, yep.
So like,
well, she calls him her familiar in the beginning to like ward off the concept that he's coming along on the road for anything other than just like existing.
And I think
because she also potentially thinks that she is the mother.
I was gonna say at that point though, it made sense because she assumed that he was her son, but now clearly, I mean, she goes up and like taunts him and whispers in his ear like, "You're so much like your mother." So
which I'm curious at what point she realizes that.
I think it was Aubrey Plaza in the not last week's episode, the one before, when she walks up, she's like, "He's not your son." Like, I think Aubrey Plaza saying that. Because number one, Agatha clearly has a history with her, so she is Lady Death. Agatha knows this, and Agatha knows who she is. So if that's the case, then if she's the one saying like he's not your son, like you would think a galactic power like Death would be privy to that kind of information.
Well, conversely, to kind of piggyback off of that, if the baby who was her son is now dead, she's already met her son. So, like,
Exactly.
she knows it's definitely not your son.
And that's the other thing too, because if he's dead and she is Death, she would know where his soul actually is.
Correct. So, there's a bunch of different theories. Hopefully, one of them pans out. I like the show. Like, Umbrella, good show so far. Not a show that I'm like, wow, I got to rewatch this immediately, but it's kept my attention.
I'd give it like a 7 out of 10 so far.
Yeah, I'd rock right around there. I
Most
tagged
of
you
the
in
stuff is
something. I think it
cosmetic
was,
that I'm dinging it on.
yeah, I think that was a big thing. I tagged you in something earlier, which I think was huge. The Batman 2. Very, very excited for that. So you and I, back, that was almost 2 years ago when Batman came out, we went and saw that together.
Yep.
We'll probably never do 40X for a movie like that again. But I digress. It was a fun movie. It says part 2, leaning for like October 3rd next year. So we got about a year to wait. I think my biggest thing that I saw on there that I'm excited for is the live action version of like real Dick Grayson.
Possibly, I saw that young Dick Grayson. I've heard a lot of rumors
Huge.
about this movie, though. So just take whatever
You know
you
what?
read
And
right now with a grain of salt. I've heard Riddler's going to be come back. I've heard the Joker's going to be a bigger villain. I've heard Mister Freeze. I've heard Clayface. Like I've heard so many like things about this movie that nobody can like confidently
confirm.
say like this
Yeah.
is it. But I would
I'm just
love.
excited because that would be like the first real like live action sidekick besides, I mean, obviously it's Robin, but like we have it confirmed it's not, Tim Drake, it's Dick because this would be like year 2 Batman, year 3 Batman. It's going to be very early in his career.
Right.
I think that's awesome. Like that is huge because you get to see the development of his Robin, see how he, sort of takes on the fathering-ish role. I very use that term very loosely because he's not much of a father, but
He's
like
more of a
that
recruiter
excites me.
that cares a little bit more.
Yeah. But yeah, like I'm excited for that because I'm a huge Dick Grayson fan. If you've listened to any of our Batman episodes,
He is
he's my
not a crispy
favorite.
critter.
He is not a crispy critter. He is absolutely not. That, but yeah, that whole thing excites me. Like I'm looking at it right now. Huge, huge. God, love it. It says Batman skull property of Hugo Strange. Love that. There's the whole poster. I love the look of it.
I would love a live action Hugo Strange outside of like the Gotham TV series. But
Sure.
like in on the silver screen, I would love a Hugo Strange storyline in any capacity.
Sure.
Even if it's like, oh, we're dealing with Scarecrow, and turns out take like Arkham City. You think you're fighting like Joker and Scarecrow and all these other villains, but it's Hugo Strange pulling every single like string behind the scene.
And that would
I
be
would
awesome.
love that.
Have you started watching the Penguin series?
Not yet.
Okay,
Uh,
so it's not just me. I wanted to wait for it to like be in a greater capacity before I like really sit down and like chip away at it. I'm excited for it.
I've heard great things so far.
I've heard amazing things so far. If you want to come over, we'll fucking knock it out one day after I get back from Florida. I'm totally down for that. We'll
I'm down.
fucking I'll rock the box. We'll check out a couple episodes, pop up some popcorn, make it real.
I'm
Be a good time.
100%
But yeah,
down for that.
I'm very much looking forward to that because it ties into the Batman. And I really like. I wasn't always a huge Robert Pattinson fan. I can confidently say that because I grew up as a teenage boy hating Twilight.
Same.
But similarly to Zac Efron, and when I hated High School Musical, I've come to love Zac Efron as a comedic actor and as a serious actor. Same with Robert Pattinson. Sorry. Yeah, I loved him in Harry Potter. Like, that was really the turning point for me. Cedric Diggory, my son.
My son.
My boy.
My baby boy.
Yeah, that was a gut-wrenching moment, and that, I think, was, like, my turning point. And I was like, "Alright, I can deal with him." I just feel like I was supposed to hate High School Musical and, Twilight. So, I did. Am I
Pretty
saying
much.
there's anything wrong with either of those two movies? Or, yeah, no. Or the sequels? Probably not. I was a too cool for school kid.
So, to piggyback off of things coming out and new things,
Shoot.
something that happened a couple months ago. Obviously, like we told you guys, we're kind of redoing formats, so we're not just covering comic books anymore. We're covering pretty much anything pop culture. I kind of want to dive into the music industry.
Alright.
And I kind of gave you a preface of what I want to talk about, but Linkin Park has made some very controversial decisions in 2024, apparently. And
Very controversial.
yeah, and apparently they came out with a new singer. Her name is Emily Armstrong. She was the lead singer of, I believe the band was called like Dead Sarah, I think.
Okay.
And they also got a new drummer, Colin Britton. But, drums are drums. I mean, outside of
Yeah.
your big three, like your Travis Barkers or this person or that person, like drummers are fairly easy to replace. So I don't
Mhm.
care so much about that side of it, but have you heard any of their new singles?
I think I heard, this is back when, like, she first took over. I think I heard, like, whatever their first song was.
Emptiness Machine?
Yeah. Okay, so I think you sent it to us in the group chat, and, like, I listened to it.
So what
It
are
wasn't anything I
your
was like I
initial
wasn't I
thoughts?
wasn't wowed. Like, again, not bad. It is not a bad I'm not saying anything bad about it. But, like, I grew up on Linkin Park.
Same. I had every
So
album,
correct. I had a
except for Minute
very,
to
like
Midnight because that was garbage.
and dude, I listened to albums like Meteora, like, I've listened to those, like, on repeat forever. Like, when that first came out, I was, like, nonstop. Just, like, I had a Walkman, anti-skip, and I rocked the shit out of that thing
Yep.
for months, like, nonstop, same CD, didn't change it, months as a kid, and, like but again, understandably so, like, very similarly to, like, you'll never replace certain people in movies. You're not ever gonna replace Jesus. You're never gonna replace like, a lead singer like him, but I don't think they're trying to, and I think they've made that apparent. It's not like a forget about our past.
It's more of a this is our
It's
future.
correct, and it's a take a step in the right direction rather than dying in the mud. We're gonna continue to move forward because life goes on with respect to the past, and I'm cool with that. Again, I have nothing against their new music. I don't think that their new music is bad. I just have, like, you know, you eat mac and cheese that's really good. You have different mac and cheese. It's not bad mac and cheese. It's just not the original mac and cheese.
Right. And that's kind of where I'm at, because for me, it's like, I'm just like you. Like, I had Meteora, I had Hybrid Theory, I had the LP, I had all of it growing up. Like, my walk, like, when I was warming up for wrestling, like, I literally was just playing Paper Cut over and over and over, like on repeat. So for me, I'm glad that they went the route with Emily.
Yeah,
Very glad. Because I feel like if they tried to bring somebody in who could not sing like Chester, because nobody sang like Chester, but try
but
to
like
like almost
tried to.
right, like almost try to mimic, I feel like that would have came off so insensitive to his family, number one. Number
Yep.
two, it's like there's so many more people out there. Like, if you're a good enough band, which clearly they are, I mean, Listen to Octane on the way home. They're all like 2 of their songs are always in the top 15. So clearly they're doing something right. But like for me, it's okay, where are you going from here? Okay, you changed the style. Awesome. I mean, yes, it still
Yep.
follows your same, like, all right, Shinoda's gonna rap, she's gonna sing, Shinoda's gonna rap, she's gonna scream, and then carry it into a heavy drop, and then they're gonna end it tailing off like they usually do. But it's just the way that she goes about approaching the screaming, the singing, and the harmonies. It's just a little bit it's different enough that for me, it's like, if I close my eyes, I could honestly probably wouldn't be able to tell you it was Linkin Park. Because obviously
Yeah.
Shinoda has Fort Minor and probably has a couple other projects that he either signed or manages or whatever on that side. But like I wouldn't even been able to tell you, like, if no one said, "Hey, Linkin Park's coming back," I just closed my eyes and you played that song for me, I'd be like, "Oh, Shinoda's on the track. Cool." It's not like "Oh, that's a Linkin Park song."
Correct. And I think that's huge. Like you said, it pays respect to like his Chester's family, and just like, all right, that's that era, that chapter is closed. We are doing this now, and it's new. Check it out. I'm cool with it. I will probably download some of their stuff on Apple Music, listen to it while I run, because it's very like, or maybe lifting, I guess, depending on the song.
Well, they just dropped a new one. It's called Heavy is the Crown, and that's actually I think it's good. It's heavier than Emptiness Machine. It's
Okay.
probably similar to like a Take It with a Grain of Salt, but the song Given Up, it's similar to that.
Mm,
How there's like
okay.
a really heavier breakdown and all that kind of stuff. And I only say take it with a grain of salt because I know right now a lot of people are aggravated about it because she does have like a tenured scream in it, like in Given Up. So a lot of people are taking it as she's trying to be like, I can do whatever Chester did. But like, I don't think that's the case because it works with the song.
But also, like, that's their style of music, and they're sticking to their style of music. So to expect
Anything
anything
different.
different is you're fooling yourself. I
Right.
mean, Jesus Christ, how many of like our favorite bands growing up have replaced a singer or this, that, or the other? Like, I mean, Jesus Christ, how many times have Blink-182 broken up? Like, they go do other shit and then they come back and then they'll figure it out. But like, I don't hate these bands for it. I mean, Jesus Christ, A Day to Remember, which if you guys listen to that type of music, they replaced like most of their background people, like their bassist, a guitarist, and no one even fucking noticed.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, unless you could see their faces at a concert, you wouldn't have known.
nah. And it's the same thing with, say, even bigger names, Slipknot. Granted,
Yeah,
they had different reasonings, obviously, and all due respect to, the ones that passed away.
sure.
But like their I think it was their drummer, I think. Either their drummer or their bassist, I think. Like when he passed away, like they just brought in somebody new and nobody batted an eye. They're like, oh, Slipknot's back, let's go. Like
Yep.
full head of steam. But now you got all these people that want to like thrive on cancel culture and shit. And it's like,
Well,
get over it. Like it's a band, they're putting out music and they're putting out good music. If they were putting out bad music, I get it. Hang it up.
or like, or if they were shitting on Chester Bennington, like, dude,
Right.
people
Like
died, and it is sad because he was a good person. Like, he was, you know, a great singer. He was so much a part of so many people's childhoods and lives. Like, okay, yes, it's sad,
and we're 6 or
but
7
again,
years
life.
removed. It's not like it was like last week he passed away and
Yeah,
now they're pumping out a new album with a new singer.
correct. It's been a while. They did their time. I don't judge them for that. To say, "Oh, my entire music career is over because our lead singer died," like, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah. No, I was just kind of curious because I know I've talked to AJ, our buddy AJ. He's been on the podcast. Go back and check out our Mortal Kombat episode. I was talking to him and he's like, yeah, I listened to it for like 15 seconds and I had to turn it off. And I'm like, I'm telling you, just give it a shot. It'll grow on you. And that's what I've been doing. Because at first I listened to Emptiness Machine, and I'm like, this is such like a cookie cutter song. And then you go back and you listen. It's like, okay, there are some riffs that are in there. Okay, Mr. Han's doing something different with the mixing. Okay, like they're doing a different timing and things like that. And it's like, it's actually a pretty well put together song when you go back and
Yeah.
actually analyze it. But no, I was just curious what your thoughts were because I knew you were like me and Linkin Park. Like for me growing up, it was literally like Linkin Park, Slipknot, and System of a Down were like my top three.
I know
Like
System of a Down. Great band.
yeah, like
Bringing back the old school.
yeah, like those were like the top three things that I listened to growing up. I mean, obviously you have your Metallica, you have your Eminem, your AC/DC, Limp Bizkit, and bands like that. But like if I was actively putting something on to either work out or go on a run or get ready for practice or get ready for a match, it was one of those three bands. No
Yeah.
ifs, ands, or buts about it. There was no question. Literally, that was it. 99% of the time, it was Linkin Park.
So again, like I said, it had that was meaningful to your childhood. It's something you can look back on like fondly. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why AJ is as hard headed as he is about the music, but oh well, not here to change him.
Hey, to each their own.
Exactly. So yeah, I think one of my big things like bands change. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not here to
They
judge
cross
you.
promote, they sing together. Like, I went to the Simple Plan concert, like we talked about, and for them to do, what song was it? It might have been, I forget what song it was, but like, it was like one of their bigger songs. And they didn't perform it during their set. And then they went off the stage, and everybody kind of looked at each other. They're like, what's going on? And then like Avril came out. She did like 3 or 4 songs. Then she brought them back out and she performed it with them. So it's like it's not new to
Yeah.
hear another like how many cover songs are there out there now that are actually
Oh,
better
yeah.
than the original?
A lot.
Like it's just one of those things where it's like anybody can kind of step into anybody's shoes. Kill Switch, Engage has switched their lead singer. Um I mean, like you said, Blink 182 has gone through how many different iterations of the band over the years? Like, it's going to happen. Things in life happen. You're not meant to dwell on it. You mourn it and then you move on. And that sounded kind
I
of
agree
harsh.
110%.
But
No, I mean, listen. I'm backing you. I think the big thing for me, is if they put out, like you said, they put out good music, I'll listen. So
right.
that's what I'm here for.
So
I guess switching gears a little bit, to try to, cover all of our bases here. Did you see Hogwarts Legacy is putting out an expansion pack?
I heard about that, but I couldn't tell if that was for Legacy or if that was for the Quidditch game that you were talking about.
No, it's for Legacy. So Hogwarts Legacy is putting out an expansion. I forget what the exact name of it is. Yeah, go me. But like 20 more hours of gameplay.
Ooh. Now, I don't know if you'll know this, but is that 20 more hours per house or is that combined? Because I know the
I want to.
overall game is the same, but there's like 1 or 2 missions depending on what house you pick that change, or it
Correct.
changes
So
like
that will
when you
remain the
get there.
same. I think it's 20 more hours of like I don't think they're house specific. So I think it's 20 hours total. But
Okay,
like if so like I'm in Slytherin house, right? If I continue playing the game from where I'm at now, I will have 20 more hours of gameplay. So if you're Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff or Gryffindor, you will have your 20 hours.
right.
So replayability wise, like if you put in 40 hours, you're going to have 60 hours. So on and so forth.
I'm excited for
I have
that.
an unhealthy amount of time in that game. Like I would have to look up stats, but I'm pretty sure I'm upwards of like 70 already. Because when that game came out, I like knuckled down and I was like, I'm fucking playing this game every single day for months. And I hardly ever play games as it is. Like I don't have time, but whew, I was in. I was in for some Hogwarts Legacy. Because that was like the first cool Harry Potter game that had come out since Quidditch World Cup.
Lego Harry Potter.
Lego Harry Potter. So I'm gonna say something very controversial. I don't like the Lego games. Concept stories are good. I don't like the game itself. It's just I'm gonna.
I've never played any of them, so I don't know gameplay wise how they are. But from what I've seen, there are some aspects of it that like I think are really cool.
Yeah.
Like the
Oh no,
Star
I'm
Wars
not saying they're
one,
not cool. There's definitely like Lego Star Wars. Like you can like pick up Lego pieces and build lightsabers and this, that, and the other, whatever. And
Darth
I'm gonna
Jar
say this,
Jar.
and no pun intended. They are very blocky.
Okay.
Like it doesn't feel fluid, and I know it's not supposed to because you're supposed to be a Lego, but like I need more fluidity.
Right. No, I get that. The only thing I know about them is that in Lego Star Wars, you can either play as or you fight Darth Jar Jar, which I think is
So
phenomenal.
again, that falls back into like I love stories.
Right, and that's what I mean.
That is awesome.
If it has a good story, I'm cool with it. But I could understand like where you're coming from, where it's like if the graphics can't hold up to tell the story, then games lose their meaning to me a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Hogwarts Legacy though. Like like I said, I played a lot of that game. But flipping back, like I got the new Quidditch game and I've pretty much played through all of that. I think I beat it. I want to say I didn't like beat the entire game. I'm not like 100% completion, but
You beat
I
the main
played
story.
through like you start out in the Weasleys like burrow and they have like a at-home Quidditch pitch. Hogwarts, Triwizard, World Cup. So I played through all 4 of them. I beat them all on, like, as high of a difficulty level as I could get, and then I played online, and I did pretty well with that too. I think online's really cool. It's, like, my preferred way to play
I was gonna say,
because
how
you
is the
get
online compared to actually like playing? Because there are some games where it's like online is the only way to play. Then there's other ones where like I remember they tried to do like God of War online, but like it ended up
no,
not
that's not
working
an
because
online game.
yeah, because like it just didn't work because everybody was Kratos. So it's like, what's the point? So I was just curious how.
So, this is one of those games where, like, you have to hone your skills in private to go play online. Personally, I'm not saying everyone has to do that, like, maybe you jumped into it and you were just good online, I don't know. I wanted to get good enough like at understanding the dynamic of the game because it's very much different. You don't catch the golden snitch and win. You catch the golden snitch and gain
150 points or
50
something.
no, it's just like 50 points or 30 points or whatever the hell it is. It's not a game ending, a game
Thing,
winning thing.
which
And it's
makes
you
sense.
play to 100. So each school like each goal is 10. I think each snitch catches 30. So you can theoretically end the game before the snitch even ever releases if you're just that good. But usually you'll have at least one snitch catch.
Okay.
But I prefer to play as a chaser slash beater because in the game you're able to like summon a bludger. So you like have, and then as people fly near you, you like light up with a target on them, and then when their target fully circles around red, you like smash them. And they have the ability to dodge, but like if you're good, they'll never see it coming.
It almost sounds like Mario Kart a little bit.
Kind of, yeah. That's kind of a concept. And then there's like, so for online, you have a choice of basically, I'm just a chaser, or you can be a chaser slash uh, keeper, chaser slash beater, chaser slash seeker. Someone's always a chaser. So usually it's teams of 3 usually.
Okay.
So it's you and 2 other people, and then each of you is in control of 2 characters. So there's 6 players on the pitch. And like your other player will be an NPC or I guess just a CPU or whatever for the time where you're not actively playing as them.
Okay, so there's always 3 computers on the field on your team.
Correct. So yeah, like I can um swap to like my beater if I'm playing defense.
That's nice.
And then all right, we saved it, swap to my chaser or no, swap to my yeah, no, not chaser. Yeah, chaser. And then boom. All right, I got the quaffle. I'm moving. And like that's the fun part of it. It's very competitive. There's a lot of like decent people playing online. I remember because I got the game like when it first came out, like, and I was playing it the day that it released. I played online that day, and I was like murdering people, which was awesome. And then I took a couple days off, and I came back, and I was like, "Oh god, I fucked up. I messed up, guys. I took too much time off." It's like Call of Duty, like, "Oh yeah, we all got the game at the same time. We're all level 2 together," and then like, "Oh,
Now you're
I had to go to work
72.
like an adult. Oh, everyone's level 90? Wonderful."
Well, that's the thing that I
And
used to
that's
love about Call of Duty is like, because I was always like, I was never like an all-star at it, but I was always good at it. And for some reason, that was one of the games, like you said earlier, like that was one of the games I just kind of picked up and was always like pretty easy to catch on to what was going on, even when they started throwing in all the new stuff. And like, I would just enjoyed it because I'd be like level 2, because like you, like I'd be working, doing whatever, and I'd be playing in the lobby, and I'd have like all these like second and third prestiges in like the first week. And I'm just like, and like I'd hear them talking shit about me, be like, "Oh, we're stuck with like this level 2 and this and that." And then I would outperform them, and then they're bitching in the lobby that a level 2 did better, and actually like a scam account. And I'm like, homie, I played the game for 2 hours. I'm sorry, I don't drop everything. Like, I know people that literally, not necessarily for Call of Duty, but like when certain games come out, they'll take. I actually, so true story, I worked at Best Buy. The guy that worked in the gaming department every year would take the day off that MLB came out, whether it was 2K or whatever. And the reason why he did it was because he always wanted to try to be the first person online to pitch a no hitter. So he would take whatever day it came out, he would take like the next week off and just play online trying to pitch no hitters. Never did it, but like I could never do that. Like,
yes, I guess that's one way to spend a vacation week. I couldn't do it, but
yeah, like
I mean, it's a cool like if that's your thing, good for you. It's not my thing. I'm not going to judge anyone for doing their thing. But yeah, it's a wild ass reason to take a vacation week.
yeah, like I even asked him, I'm like, "Well, do you do like anything else?" He's like, "Nope, I just sit down and I just play MLB." And I'm like,
Could you imagine though, like the
the frustration.
he's got to be blowing through controllers because if I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, I pitched and we're in like the 7th inning and I got a no hitter so far, and then someone hits and you're like, I wasted all that time. All that time. I just wasted it. All right, let's restart. And then like the next time it's like the 2nd inning and you're like, all right, at least it was early. And the
I
third time you go back and it's like the 4th inning and it's just like how much time?
I physically watched him 3 times. Physically, myself watched him get to the 9th inning with 2 outs and give up a single.
I'd cry. I would cry. Personally. Because
Uh,
that is like the most disheartening thing I've ever heard.
and I don't know. I couldn't do it. I mean, power to you if you can. I mean, if you're that dedicated of a gamer, like by all means, like I got my games that when they come out, like I'm drilling them. Like God of War, when God of War comes out, you don't hear from me for like the first month it's out.
Yeah, that's going to be a good release. Very excited for God of War.
But like Madden or like MLB or even NHL, like I used to be ranked online in NHL, and I don't even touch the game anymore.
See, it's one of those games where like I'm glad they introduced threes hockey because it changed things up a bit. But I'm the same way. I'm like, I don't need it.
Right.
Like I think I picked up 23, maybe 24. Some I was at Target and I was just like walking through waiting for something at the mall, and they had NHL 23 for $15, and I was like, okay.
Why not?
I think it's still in the packaging. Like I don't even think I opened it. So if you're into borrow it, let me know. It's the one with you can get the old school Mighty Ducks and the Hawks jerseys. That was like the main reason I bought it.
It doesn't surprise me.
That's my lacrosse team this season was the Ducks. Not great, but I wore a Mighty Ducks jersey to the game, so win-win for me.
Yeah, hell yeah. So we're kind of pushing up against it. There's one more thing that I kind of want. I already asked you this, but now you've had some time to kind of sit on it. Again, October, spooky season.
Yep.
So you are in a zombie apocalypse where stipulation is normal movie zombies. You get bit, you get turned. I'm not going to say like, oh, you get scratched or any of that. Specifically, they bite you, you turn.
Okay.
Where on planet Earth are you going to bunker down and think you have the best final stand to survive?
I'm allowed to pick anywhere on Earth.
Outside of like Antarctica or
Sure.
places like
We're
that.
talking like not wastelands.
Correct.
Okay.
Could be monuments, could be parks, could be whatever. It also can't be on a boat in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Sure. No. I on land.
What land-based
Now, let
area?
me. I have a prerequisite question.
Go for it.
What does my like ration ammunition supply look like?
Whatever you bring with you. So it
It's like
could be
whatever I'm able to carry.
not necessarily carry, but just whatever you feel you would need.
Okay. So, what's my prep time look like, Batman?
Prep time, I would say.
Like, all right. So the outbreak happens. I see it on TV.
So less than 28 days later, more than Walking Dead.
So I got less than a month.
You got probably, I'd say you're a good week to 2 weeks into the takeover. So not everybody is taken over. However, it is widespread. It's spreading widely fast.
Okay.
And as another precursor, if it's not in this country, you have a pilot's license, so you don't got to worry about like, well, what if I got on a plane with somebody who's infected? No, none of that. Just you, and we'll say 4 other people.
Okay. We'll get to
Where
the 4
would
other
you
people
go?
later. I would have to choose.
I'll give you, since I dropped it on you, I'll say, what are your top 3 spots, you would say?
3 spots. Ooh. Okay.
Just because I get coming up with one is hard.
We have power or no?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to choose the Empire State Building.
Okay.
That's number 1. And I will explain more. I have the high ground, Anakin. So, obviously, they can't scale walls that large. And even if they could, the Empire State Building has like outward facing spiked railings at the top, so like they can't get up that. I would make sure that they only had one route directly to the top. So I would just create a kill corridor that people would have to watch. Just a flight of stairs. Like, we're not talking elevators. I'm gonna shut the elevators down. Boom, we're e-stopping that elevator. And then it's just going to be a flight of stairs that you got to worry about. And we'll have those 4 people, we're going to take turns taking watch. We'll have food and rations on certain floors. Maybe we'll work our way up as things get hairier and hairier until we're at the top.
No, I'll make a
and go
correction.
that direction.
I'll make a correction. So you don't have necessarily power, you have emergency powers.
I just need a refrigerator for food.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. So like you said, like we would turn off the elevators, just assume they're already out of commission.
Okay.
So you're
So
on
yeah, I mean,
backup generators in most buildings.
Cool. I just need enough power to power refrigerators on the floors of the building that I'm in, and we'll be able to move our rations and ammunition up the floors. That's like stop number 1 is probably the Empire State Building.
Yeah, that's right along lines with me. My first stop was going to be the Eiffel Tower. Same reasoning.
Okay.
High ground, not very easy to climb, doable, but not easy. One way up, one way down. So I'm very much in the realm that you were with that pick.
Okay, I like it. My second Second option. And this is strictly for as far as rations and ammunition go, any military installation. Hole yourself up. Like MREs last for like 50 years. Don't quote me on that exactly, but like they last forever. So we had these things, they're just like hot chow trays, and it's essentially just like an MRE in a tray, and it's like literally the same thing. You just like peel it back instead of a bag individually. So if you got 4 people peeling a tray, it's enough for everyone to eat. Don't get picky. That's all I got to say. Just eat what you got. You get what you get and you don't get upset. You don't need them heated. Technically, it's better if it's heated, but you don't need them heated because they're already pre-cooked. Obviously, tons of ammunition, firearms. That's going to help me long term. Military installation vehicles don't use keys, so I'd be able to access those at any given time.
Okay.
That's like option number 2. So you're going to have the food that lasts a while. You're going to have the ability to like bunker down inside of, so we'll just say the armory, for example. Like it's like one of the most heavily guarded places in a military installation. Boom, close that door. You got a slot that's open. It's about this big. Bring all your food and stuff in there and hang out. Figure out your bathroom situation.
Okay. Yeah, no, my second location would have been probably on the shores of one of the Great Lakes.
Okay.
Because number one, I'm assuming that the zombies that I hypothetically just created can't swim. So if they can't swim, I have an easy escape route. I only have one side of terrain that actually defend. So you should pretty much be able to see them coming from almost any direction. And it's almost impossible to get yourself surrounded.
Yeah.
And if worst came to worst and you lost that emergency power, I'm sure there's plenty of wildlife now that I can hunt to cook for food and ration.
See, I like that concept, and that's going to bring me to my third. Madagascar.
Madagascar.
Yep, Madagascar. Here's why. Not a heavily populated
Because you like
island.
to move it.
I do like to move it.
Especially in a zombie.
And honestly, like, it's not heavily populated. It's an island. They're not swimming. They're not flying planes. I have to worry about the people that are on that island, and that's it. Like, there's animals to hunt. I got my people with me. As long as everyone's relatively intelligent and doesn't get themselves bitten by a zombie or fall in love with a zombie or whatever, Disney Channel movie is going to tell you what to do. Like, don't do that. But yeah, like, just survive for a little while and we'll all be okay. Because eventually it's either going to die out or we're going to kill them.
And that was, honestly, your third kind of brings me to my third. My third was going to be I'd go to Australia. Number one, if I don't kill the zombies, something there will.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if it's still true, but I know there was a short period of time where the plant life in Australia was more deadly to humans than the animal life. And if that,
yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's true currently, but I do know that everything in Australia wants to kill you.
right? They want to kill me. Why wouldn't they want to kill the zombies?
Yeah, let it fight a kangaroo.
Oh, I would. Like, you know how, like, there's bum wars and bum fights and all that kind of stuff? Like,
Yeah.
could you imagine, like a YouTube channel after a zombie apocalypse where, like, somebody's just got, like, a whole gaggle of zombies just chained up outside and a pet kangaroo to fight them?
I'd watch that.
Like,
I'd be down for that.
kangaroos are nasty too, dude.
They are, dude. Kangaroos will wade in the water and wait for you to approach them and then drown you.
Yeah, like, they're psycho.
Like, if that's not savage, I don't know what is, and I love it. Like, kangaroo, deadly. Koala bears, not deadly, still want to kill you. I'm pretty sure, like, there's just something inherently in the DNA of every animal in Australia that is just, like, death.
Probably.
And I love it. Like, I want to go to Australia so bad. It's one of the places I've wanted to visit since I did a project on it in 3rd grade, and I just want to go. I think it's so awesome. I love their accent.
Let's do it.
If you're Australian and you listen to us, I love you.
2026. Let's do it.
You don't gotta tempt me with a good time. I'm in.
Because outside of the whatever it is, 21-hour or 18-hour flight there, or 26-hour, whatever the hell the flight is, I'm
Yeah.
down.
Oh, dude, Australia looks awesome. I think it'd be like a fun week-long trip. Just, again, you take a whole day to fly, whatever. Stay there for 5 days. You take a whole day to fly back. That's your week.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to do anything crazy. I want to do like Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra. Maybe do like a safari.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's the thing that I love is like watching like the safari videos from Australia because it's like you'll be watching like lions will just like climb into the truck and just like pass out and fall asleep on people and everybody's like, oh my god, like that's so dangerous. But it's like you got to realize like that's such a large animal that you're not even a meal to them.
Correct. Yeah. You're not a threat, and that's why they're cool with it.
Yeah, like
Like, if
they.
you were any kind of threat, they wouldn't sleep near you.
Yeah, no, like you wouldn't even see them coming. Like you would
Yeah.
be you'd be dead in the water before you even knew that you were wet.
Yep. Oh yeah, dude. And that's like the funny thing. Like, there's so many just like deadly animals in there. Like, the lion is the least of my worries.
Oh yeah, I'd be more terrified of the spiders and snakes versus lions. And,
Scorpions and all those crazy ass animals that are just like wild. You know, I've seen videos and photos of stuff of like, first of all, the spiders down there are like the size of me, and that scares me. But like, imagine yourself, 2 a.m., you wake up, oh, groggy, and then you sit down on the toilet and you didn't realize there's an anaconda in there. And it's snakes on a plane, man. I don't want that. I don't want that.
honestly, you know what are the ones that get me? Like, yes, the snake in the toilet things are creepy as shit. The one that gets me is when you see videos of like places that get hit with like hurricanes, not just Australia, but like say you areas get hit with like hurricanes and you get the people that like film themselves like filming all the like flooding and then like they open their back door when they get home and there's an alligator in their fucking living room. That's
Yeah,
the shit that gets me. I'm like, dude, if I came home and there was like a 12-foot crocodile in my fucking kitchen, like, sorry, dude, no. Like, they're
I'm
like,
out.
oh, we can get it out. No, the fuck, I'm not.
Yeah. I'm
That's
just going
your
to
house
move. You
now.
can have the house.
Yeah, that's your house now. Like, burn it with
Yeah.
fire only works with certain things, and crocodiles are not on that list.
Now, I saw it was like a park, I think, in Australia, and it looked like a misty morning, like a very, kind of like foggy look. They were spider webs.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's
That's
ridiculous.
that's a no-no for like, nope.
Yeah.
That I could not burn it with fire faster.
Oh, dude. You couldn't even napalm that. Like,
No.
um,
And their spiders are viciously deadly. Like, some of the stuff down there is like, well, I'm just gonna die. Like, I remember when we were overseas, I was in Africa, and they were telling us like, oh, here's the wildlife that's out in this area. We're in the desert, middle of nowhere, hours from hospitals. And I remember our doctor was like, all right, so here is a list of these animals. The adults, you might have 4 to 5 hours to live. The helicopter getting here and back to the hospital is going to take about 4.5, 5 hours. So you
good
might
luck.
make it. If it's a baby, you're dead. I was like, oh, cool. This is great. So, which ones am I going to live if I touch?
Right. Like, what is the touchy versus the no touchy? Like, where's
Yeah.
that
Oh, dude,
line?
it was terrible. So at night we would like we got flashlights and we're like looking around on the ground and stuff. We had to sleep like on top of the cots and then like put our boots on top of ourselves because you wake up in the morning, there's a scorpion in your boot, you're dead. So yeah, everything that we had was like hung up. We had like, tie it all up and hang it off the ground so nothing could get inside of it. It was crazy. And then I remember one night I'm sitting there on Firewatch and I'm like, oh look, there's a big old scorpion. I was like, oh look, there's baby scorpions. I was like, get the hell out of here. And I'm cutting open glow sticks and I'm like throwing them at the scorpions to like light them up. I'm like, get away, get away. The power of Christ compels you.
Dude, I couldn't fucking imagine that. Like, don't get me wrong, when it comes to
hard.
wildlife, like, I'm no bitch. Like, I've wrestled a bear, like, I've done like crazy shit in my life. But like, and not in the wild for all you out there, like it was in a controlled environment at a county fair in the Midwest, like it was a whole production thing. But like, I'm the dumbass, I'd be like, oh, a scorpion. Let me see. And then I'm dead.
Yep. We created the Creature Fight Club inside of an igloo cooler. So we would like get a container and scoop them up and then like throw them in the cooler and see which one ended up alive. Because that's what Marines do when we're bored. That, and then we would dig holes and throw rocks in them. So,
Rule number 1, you do not talk about Creature Fight Club. Rule number 2.
Oh no, we definitely did not talk about Creature Fight
not.
Club, because when the CO came around, he's like, what's that scraping in the cooler? I'm like, don't worry about it. Nothing. It's nothing.
Definitely not 36 scorpions fighting to the death.
Yeah, they specifically told us, they were like, do not catch wildlife. And we were like, well, I mean, you just told us not to, so we're obviously going to do that.
Oh, yeah.
We were children. It was a good time. But, all right, guys, before we get way too off track here, we just want to say thank you so much for listening. Check us out on YouTube.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yes, like and subscribe. Check us out on TikTok. Give us a follow at Nerds Who Drink. Instagram, Facebook, Nerds Who Drink. We're on everything at Nerds Who Drink. Thank you, Spotify, for hosting us. As always, Riverside, big shout out to you guys for being our new in-home studio. And last but not least, I'm Steve.
And I'm Mark.
And we'll catch you guys next time.